Alright. Hey, I'm Aqua or Aquarius of Fallen Snow if you don't know me. Welcome to this video. Happy to have you back if you've been here before. This is our series on mental health conditions and further researching my thesis that psychopathy is linked to nepotism, power, and sacred bloodlines or incest. In our previous video, we explored Alzheimer's disease, schizophrenia, psychosis, and more. Today, we'll be discussing bipolar disorder, sociopathy, DID, or multiple personality disorder, and further looking into psychopathy. We'll be examining their clinical definitions, symptoms, and current research findings. My goal is to provide accurate, evidence-based information to promote understanding and awareness of these complex conditions. I would also like to add a warning at the start of this video. I'd like to take a second to say that this video is not intended for all audiences, and some people may be sensitive to the content we're covering in this video, so viewer discretion is advised. So let's begin with bipolar disorder, a condition characterized by extreme mood swings that include emotional highs, mania or hypomania, and lows, including depression. The clinical definition states that bipolar disorder is a mental health condition that causes unusual shifts in mood, energy, activity levels, concentration, and the ability to carry out day-to-day tasks. There are several types of bipolar disorder, including bipolar 1 and 2 and cyclothymia. While exact figures vary, bipolar disorder affects approximately 1 to 2% of global population. Some symptoms may include manic episodes including elevated mood, increased energy, decreased need for sleep, and impulsivity. Depressive episodes involve feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and loss of interest in activities. For hereditability, research suggests that bipolar disorder has a strong genetic component, with hereditability estimates ranging from 60 to 85%. Environmental factors can influence the development of bipolar disorder, including childhood adversity, substance use, stressful life events, and seasonal factors. Treatment approaches typically involve a combination of medication, such as mood stabilizers and antipsychotics, as well as psychotherapy. Next, let's look at DID or multiple personality disorder. Multiple personality disorder, now known as dissociative identity disorder, or DID, is a complex mental health condition characterized by the presence of two or more distinct personality states or identities. These identities, often called alters, have their own unique characteristics, memories, and ways of perceiving the world. Key aspects and some symptoms of DID include presence of at least two distinct personality states, memory gaps more severe than ordinary forgetfulness, feelings of detachment from oneself and the world, uncertainty about one's identity, and potential physical symptoms like seizures or fainting. DID is often linked to severe childhood trauma, typically before the age of 5 to 6. 90% of diagnosed individuals report experiencing multiple forms of childhood abuse. Other traumatic experiences may include a medical procedure, war, natural disaster, or loss of loved ones. The prevalence and demographics of DID is somewhat similar to bipolar disorder. With a lifetime prevalence of 1 to 1.5% in the general population, it does differ, however, being diagnosed 6 to 9 times more often in women than men in adult clinical settings, but nearly equal ratios of girls to boys in pediatric settings. Unfortunately, there is no specific medication for DID, but medications may be used for comorbid conditions. Primary treatment involves psychotherapy. Long-term treatment may help individuals integrate their personalities. There are some controversies to note as well. DID has a history of extreme controversy in the medical community. Debates exist about the validity of the diagnosis and portrayal in media. It's important to note that DID is a serious condition that requires professional diagnosis and treatment. Individuals experiencing symptoms should seek help from qualified mental health professionals. Now let's turn our attention to sociopathy, which is often conceptualized as a form of antisocial personality disorder. The clinical definition states that sociopathy is characterized by a persistent pattern of disregard for and violation of the rights of others. Key characteristics include lack of empathy and remorse, disregard for social norms and laws, manipulative and deceitful behavior, impulsivity, and risk-taking. Unlike psychopathy, sociopathy is believed to result from a combination of genetic predispositions and environmental factors such as childhood trauma and abnormal socialization. The exact prevalence rates for sociopathy are difficult to determine, but antisocial personality disorder is estimated to affect about 1 to 4% of the general population. The study suggests that genetic factors play a significant role, with hereditability estimates for antisocial personality disorder ranging from 38 to nearly 70%. Some research suggests neurobiological differences in sociopaths, including a higher proportion of gray matter in the medial cortex of the frontal lobe. Sociopathy is associated with poor treatment response, presenting significant challenges in critical management. Finally, let's go back over psychopathy, a related but distinct condition from sociopathy. Psychopathy is a personality disorder characterized by persistent antisocial behavior, impaired empathy and remorse, and bold, disinhibited, egotistical traits. Key traits include lack of empathy and emotional depth, manipulative and deceitful behavior, and lack of remorse or guilt. But let's look at the distinctions from sociopathy. While both involve antisocial behaviors, psychopathy is thought to have a stronger genetic basis and is characterized by a more profound lack of empathy. In general population, psychopathy is estimated to affect about 1% of individuals. However, studies suggest up to 4% of business leaders in the US could be psychopaths. Research has identified certain brain differences in individuals with psychopathic traits, particularly in areas related to emotional processing and decision-making. Twin studies show that psychopathic traits demonstrate substantial hereditability, with estimates varying for different aspects of psychopathy. Treatment for psychopathy is challenging, with limited evidence for effective interventions. Management often focuses on risk reduction and behavioral control. Like I stated before, psychopathy and sociopathy are both considered subtypes of antisocial personality disorder, or ASPD. They share many overlapping traits, but they also differ significantly in their behavior, emotional traits, and causes. So let's go over some similarities and differences. Some similar core traits may include both psychopaths and sociopaths exhibit a disregard for laws, social norms, and the rights of others. They lack empathy, guilt, or remorse for their actions. Manipulative and deceitful behavior are central to both conditions. Both can display violent or aggressive tendencies. Both are prone to criminal behavior, though the nature of their crimes may differ. And for diagnosis, both fall under the umbrella of ASPD in the DSM-5, but are not officially distinct diagnoses. Some key takeaways to remember. Psychopaths are calculated, emotionally detached individuals who often conceal their antisocial tendencies behind a facade of charm. They plan their actions meticulously and avoid detection. Sociopaths are more impulsive, emotionally reactive, and prone to reckless behavior. Their actions are less calculated, making them easier to identify. The causes also differ significantly. Psychopathy is linked more closely to genetics, while sociopathy stems from environmental factors like trauma. Understanding these distinctions is crucial for clinical diagnosis, criminal profiling, and treatment approaches. Psychopaths and sociopaths differ significantly in their ability to form relationships, primarily due to the difference in emotional traits, empathy, and behavioral patterns. But let's break down the two separately. For psychopaths, they lack genuine empathy and emotional depth, making it nearly impossible for them to form real emotional attachments. They view relationships as opportunities for manipulation and personal gain rather than meaningful connection. They can mimic emotional response and appear charming or caring to manipulate others, but these interactions are shallow and calculated. Psychopaths often maintain multiple superficial relationships simultaneously, using charm and deceit to exploit others. They rarely stay in long-term relationships due to their inability to emotionally connect. Sociopaths, on the other hand, are more emotionally reactive and capable of forming limited emotional bonds, usually with close individuals or small groups. These attachments, however, are often unstable due to their impulsive and erratic behavior. While sociopaths lack broad empathy, they may have a rudimentary sense of morality and care for specific people. This contrasts with the complete emotional detachment seen in psychopathy. Sociopaths struggle with maintaining stable relationships due to their impulsivity, aggression, and difficulty controlling emotions. However, their attachments, though limited, can be more genuine than those of psychopaths. In summary, psychopaths are emotionally detached and use relationships as tools for manipulation, while sociopaths may form limited but unstable attachments due to their volatile nature. Both struggle with meaningful connections, but differ in the depth of their emotional involvement. Now, looking at positions of power in conjunction with characteristics, traits, and symptoms. There are several reasons why individuals in positions of power may appear to exhibit traits associated with psychopathy or narcissism. These reasons are rooted in psychological, social, and structural dynamics. Some traits that aid in gaining power are charisma and charm. Psychopaths often possess superficial charm and charisma, which can make them appear confident and capable. These traits help them gain trust and influence others, particularly in one-on-one interactions or public settings. Many people in power exhibit fearlessness and a willingness to take risks that others might avoid. This trait can be advantageous in leadership roles, but may also lead to reckless decisions. Psychopaths are adept at reading people and manipulating situations to their advantage. Their ability to manage impressions allows them to navigate complex social hierarchies effectively. Now for some structural and cultural factors. Pathocracy. In some systems, individuals with psychopathic traits may thrive because the structure rewards traits like ruthlessness, egocentrism, and a lack of empathy. This phenomenon, referred to as pathocracy, describes organizations or governments dominated by such individuals. People often associate traits like dominance, confidence, and decisiveness, common in psychopaths, with effective leadership, even if these traits can lead to harmful outcomes. Psychological characteristics include lack of empathy, grandiosity and narcissism, and stress immunity. Leaders with psychopathic tendencies often lack empathy, enabling them to make tough decisions without being burdened by emotional considerations. While this can be seen as strength in high-pressure environments, it can also result in cruelty or disregard for others' well-being. Psychopaths often have an inflated sense of self-worth and a desire for power and control, which drives them to seek leadership positions. Many individuals with psychopathic traits thrive in chaotic or high-stress environments, giving them an edge over others who might falter under the pressure. Studies suggest that psychopaths are disproportionately represented in leadership roles compared to the general population. This is due to their ability to exploit systems that reward boldness and a lack of ethical constraints. However, while these traits may help them attain power, they can also lead to ineffective or damaging leadership over time. These factors collectively explain why certain leaders may seem crazy or psychopathic, while also highlighting the systematic issues that allow such individuals to rise to power. The long-term effectiveness of having a psychopathic leader can be significant and detrimental to both the organization and its employees. Here are some of the key consequences. Let's start with the organizational impact. Psychopathic leadership often leads to decreased organizational performance over time. This is due to the leader's focus on short-term gains at the cost of long-term stability. Organizations led by psychopaths typically experience high employee turnover rates. This constant churn of staff can be costly and disruptive to the company's operations. Psychopathic leaders tend to cultivate a culture where unethical behavior becomes normalized. This can lead to a toxic work environment that permeates throughout the organization. Consistently displaying psychopathic traits can severely damage the personal reputation of both the leader and the organization. This can result in loss of business and opportunity partnerships. Now, on to the impact on the employees. Employees working under psychopathic leaders often experience low morale. This is due to the leader's lack of empathy and manipulative behavior. The manipulative actions of psychopathic leaders gradually erode trust among team members. This lack of trust can stifle innovation and collaboration. When employees perceive their leader is primarily self-serving, they may become hesitant to share information or work closely together, reducing overall productivity. Working under a psychopathic leader can cause significant psychological stress for employees, potentially leading to mental health issues and burnout. Long-term consequences include ethical deterioration, financial losses, talent drain, as well as legal and regulatory issues. Over time, the unethical behavior molded by psychopathic leaders can lead to a broader deterioration of ethical standards within the organization. The combination of higher turnover, decreased performance, and potential scandals can result in significant financial losses for the company over the long term. As word spreads about the toxic leadership, it becomes increasingly difficult for the organization to attract and retain top talent. The risky and unethical behavior often associated with psychopathic leadership may eventually lead to legal and regulatory problems for the organization. It's important to note that while some psychopathic traits like fearlessness and boldness can be advantageous in leadership roles, when combined with social competence, the overall impact of psychopathic leadership tends to be negative in the long run. Organizations need to be vigilant in identifying and addressing these traits to mitigate their potentially devastating long-term effects. The media also plays a role in this. Media often glorifies power and wealth while overlooking the ethical compromises made to achieve them. Leaders who exhibit ruthless behavior are sometimes portrayed as strong or effective, reinforcing the ideas that these traits are necessary for success. Outrage-driven news cycles can also amplify divisive and manipulative figures because they generate clicks and views. But this has a psychological toll on society. When people perceive their leaders as self-serving or manipulative, trust in institutions like governments, corporations, and media erodes. This distrust can lead to apathy or cynicism about meaningful change. Living under systems that seem indifferent or even hostile to human well-being can create widespread anxiety and feelings of helplessness. Psychopathic leadership often thrives on division. By pitting groups against each other through scapegoating or fear-mongering, leaders consolidate power while weakening the collective resistance. Many individuals feel overwhelmed by the constant demand of modern life, whether it's economic pressure, environmental crises, or political instability. This burnout makes it harder for people to organize against harmful systems. Now, I'm sure it can feel like things are getting pretty bleak by this point in the video, but here's some things on a more positive note that may help. While it may feel bleak at times, history shows that societies have the capacity for resilience and change when people come together around shared values like empathy, fairness, and justice. Here are some ways forward. Encouraging leaders who prioritize integrity, empathy, and collaboration can help shift cultural norms around power. Grassroots movements focus on local solutions can counterbalance the harm caused by toxic leadership at higher levels. Strengthening systems of accountability, such as watchdog organizations or free press, can help expose unethical behaviors and limit its impacts. Education system that emphasizes emotional intelligence and ethical reasoning can help cultivate future generations of compassionate leaders. And social movements throughout history, from civil rights to environmental activism, show that collective action can change even the most entrenched systems. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the state of the world right now, but recognizing these dynamics is an important first step towards change. While psychopathic tendencies may seem pervasive in leadership today, they don't define humanity as a whole, and many people are working tirelessly to build a more just and empathetic world. And now some more community-driven points. To motivate individuals to stay hopeful and positive about the future while also exploring actionable plans and the concept of a world without money, here are some ideas. Encourage people to celebrate small achievements as this builds momentum and reinforces a sense of progress. Ask them to imagine their ideal life or world and write about it in detail. This practice has been shown to boost optimism and motivation. I'm sure conversations would work just as well too. Highlighting what they are thankful for can shift focus from challenges to opportunities, fostering a more positive mindset. Encourage viewing obstacles as opportunities for growth rather than setbacks. This mindset builds resilience and keeps people moving forward. And create an environment filled with uplifting influences, whether through supportive people, motivational content, or inspiring role models. And here are some plans for a better future through community building and leveraging technology for equality. Start small by creating local initiatives that foster collaboration and mutual support, such as community gardens, skill sharing groups, or cooperative businesses. Spread knowledge about alternative economic systems or sustainable living practices to inspire collective action. Advocate for the use of automation and AI to reduce inequality by meeting basic human needs effectively, such as food production and healthcare access. Work towards electing leaders who prioritize empathy, sustainability, and justice over short-term gains. Promote worker-owned cooperatives or community-driven projects that reduce reliance on traditional hierarchies and profit motifs. The idea of a world without money is intriguing but complex. Without money, resources could be distributed based on need rather than wealth, reducing disparities. People could pursue work that fulfills rather than working solely for income. Removing monetary transactions could reduce stress associated with financial insecurity. There would be some challenges for sure. Ensuring fair allocation of resources without a monetary system would require advanced planning and some sort of governance structures. Greed, ego, and power dynamics might persist even in a system without money, potentially creating new forms of inequality. A post-money society would likely rely heavily on advanced automation and AI to meet human needs effectively, a level of technology we have yet to achieve universally. But here are some pathways to realizing this future. Transitioning to this kind of a system might require a cultural shift towards valuing cooperation over competition. Strong institutions capable of managing resources equitably. Grassroots movements advocating for systematic change or technological advancement like universal automation. And in my personal opinion, I think philosophy in school from the start of like grade 6 in elementary school and onward could help foster that room for understanding of how our mind works and how we interact with the world. From there, you could grow into psychology, anthropology, other forms of sciences or literature, whatever it is, but you have to have a solid base to build on, right? While a world without money may seem utopian, it aligns with the concept of a post-scarcity society, often depicted in science fiction, such as Star Trek. Whether achievable or not, exploring this vision can inspire innovative solutions to current global challenges. By combining hope-driven motivation with actionable plans and bold visions like a world without money, you can inspire others to believe in and work towards a brighter future. So I hope this helped in terms of giving you more information about these different mental health conditions and symptoms, and how we could work at moving away from the current system of pathocracy and into a brighter future of non-scarcity and universal equity and equality. I truly think this is possible. It may take time, but if we don't put this work in to start the ball rolling, or the snowball down the hill, how is it ever going to gain that momentum to turn into a huge boulder, right? But yeah, I think this video has gone on long enough. Let me know what you think of it, and if you did enjoy, make sure you check out the first part of this series looking into psychopathy, nepotism, and sacred bloodlines. And let me know what you think. Do you think there is a correlation between the system as we have it right now and psychopathy or different mental states, or do you think it's more of a coincidence that people in positions of power seem to demonstrate these traits of psychopathy? I'm curious to know. And if there are other mental health conditions you would like me to look into more in the future, let me know. I'd be happy to do it. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Not only do you have the opportunity to join the community and help us build and grow together, but then you never miss a new upload that I drop, and the possibilities are endless on what that could be. But yeah, I love you. Stay safe. Good luck and take it easy.